He lied to everyone until life made him pay.
Lied to everyone. To his boss, to his friends, to me. And for a long time, he got away with it. Because lies, when told beautifully, sound a lot like ambition. But the thing about lies is, they age faster than truth. And when they die, they don't die quietly. My name's Aaron Cole, and this is the story of how a man built his life out of words until those same words buried him. This isn't fiction. This is karma. Real people, real consequences. You're watching Real Life Karma TV. 3 years ago, I worked at a small fintech startup in Austin, a company that called itself the future of trust. Ironically, we had no idea how much irony was built into that slogan. Our team was small, 12 people counting the founders. We were hungry. Sleep-deprived. Optimistic enough to believe we could fix the world with code. And then came Derek Lane. He joined as our head of partnerships. Polished suit, movie star smile. The kind of guy who shakes your hand with 2 hands to make you feel like you're the only person in the room. And for a while, it worked. He was confident, articulate, always had a story about closing deals or angel investors waiting for callbacks. We didn't fact-check him because we wanted to believe him. Belief is easy when it flatters your hope. Our founder, Maya, adored him. She said, "Derek has connections. He'll take us to the next level." And he did. At least, that's how it looked. Within weeks, Derek was pitching to investors, writing articles on LinkedIn about integrity and leadership. He even got featured in a local business magazine. He quoted Steve Jobs and Marcus Aurelius in the same sentence. That should have been the first red flag. But you don't see red flags when the confetti's flying. He started coming in late. Investor calls, he said. He missed deadlines, networking events. He expensed dinners that no one remembered attending. Still, he knew how to keep the room warm. Whenever tension rose, he'd make a joke, buy coffee for everyone, and say, "We're building something bigger than any of us." He said that a lot. So much, it started sounding like a prayer. One Friday night, after another impossible week, Maya gathered the team. "We're close to closing our Series A," she said. "Derek's been negotiating with the lead investor for months." Everyone cheered. Everyone but me. Because Derek didn't look happy. He looked nervous, like a magician whose final trick was about to expose the strings. Still, he smiled, raised his glass. "To the future of trust." If only we knew how wrong those words were. A week later, Maya invited me to a client meeting, something Derek had arranged. "Big opportunity," she said. We drove across town, arrived at a glass building with a company logo I'd never seen. Derek met us in the lobby, greeted the receptionist like an old friend. He spoke fast, confident, like someone who knew every hallway. Except when the receptionist said, "Sorry, sir, we don't have you scheduled today," the color drained from his face. He laughed it off.
Oh, miscommunication. Happens all the time. But when Maya checked her phone, there were no emails, no calendar invites, nothing. The meeting didn't exist. And for the first time, neither did Derek's story. That night, Maya called me, her voice thin, fragile. She said, "Aaron, I checked with the investor he mentioned. They've never heard of him." We sat in silence, the kind that only betrayal knows how to make. Lies are strange things. They don't just break trust, they rearrange it. They make you question your own eyes. We wanted to believe him so badly that we stopped believing in ourselves. Monday morning came. Derek walked into the office like nothing had happened, holding coffee, whistling, smiling. And that smile, that smile, it almost convinced me it was all just a misunderstanding. Until Maya stood up, her voice steady. "Derek, we need to talk."
The room froze. Even the hum of the AC felt like it was holding its breath. That's when the unraveling began. Emails checked, records verified, expenses compared, every number, a lie disguised as effort. He hadn't closed any deals. He hadn't met any investors. He hadn't even registered his travel claims. He'd built an entire career on confidence alone, a castle made of charm, and the foundation was quicksand. When Maya confronted him, he didn't deny it. He just said, "I was trying to protect the company's image." That's the thing about liars. They always think they're lying for a noble cause. She fired him that day, right there in front of everyone. He didn't argue, didn't apologize, just smiled. And as he walked out, he said, "You'll regret this." Turns out, he was half right, because karma wasn't done yet.
The office felt different after he left. Lighter, yes, but also cracked. Like we'd all been living under a roof made of glass, and now we could finally see the sky and the damage. Maya tried to hold us together. She said, "We'll rebuild, we'll focus on the truth." But investors pulled out within days. Word spreads fast in small industries, and lies travel faster than apologies. I stayed on, helping clean up the mess. Emails, financials, client records. Every click was like peeling wallpaper off a haunted house. Behind every shiny presentation Derek had made, there was nothing but emptiness. The partnerships he claimed? Fake. The investors he promised? Fabricated. Even the testimonials on his website? AI generated. Yeah, he even faked the praise. The deeper we looked, the uglier it got. Derek hadn't just lied to us, he'd lied to everyone he'd ever met. He'd used our brand to raise side money from fake clients, claiming he was the bridge between us and them. Tens of thousands gone. It wasn't just betrayal, it was fraud. Maya filed a report, but by then, he'd already disappeared.
No LinkedIn, no phone. Just gone. Like the wind after a storm, leaving debris for someone else to clean. I wish I could say that was the end. But karma doesn't move on until everyone learns their part of the lesson. And ours was just beginning.
Clients canceled contracts. Employees quit. We went from 12 to 5 in a month. From dreams of IPOs to prayers for payroll. You don't just lose money when a liar walks through your life. You lose confidence in yourself. You start wondering how many times you looked truth in the eye and called it leadership. Then one evening, Maya called me into her office. She looked exhausted, papers everywhere, emails unanswered, eyes red from more than just lack of sleep. She said, "Aaron, we're being audited." I froze. How bad? She sighed. Bad enough that they think we were complicit. It hit me like cold steel.
We weren't just victims anymore. We were suspects. And suddenly, Derek's lies weren't just his. They were ours too, because we let them live here. Funny thing about liars, they never have to bury the truth. They let other people do it for them. And we did. We believed. We trusted. We built our careers on words that weren't real. And now, the ground was cracking beneath us. The audit dragged on for weeks. Every day felt like sitting in a confession booth. Except we didn't know what sins we were confessing to. One morning, while sorting through Derek's old laptop, I found a file named Phase 2. Inside, emails to other startups, investors, and even a few journalists, all pretending to be partnership announcements. He was planning to build a whole new company, using our name as proof of success. He wasn't just a liar. He was a brand manager for deceit. That night, I couldn't sleep. The guilt was heavier than anger. I kept hearing his voice, smooth, confident, reassuring. We're building something bigger than any of us.
He was right about one thing. The something bigger was the hole he left behind. Then, out of nowhere, karma made its move. A journalist from the Business Standard reached out to me. Said she was investigating Derek Lane, that his name was popping up in multiple scams. She asked me, "Would you be willing to share your story?" I hesitated. Because truth is expensive, especially when you've been selling lies by accident. But then I thought of Maya, of the team, of every night we stayed late believing in something that never existed. So I said yes. Because sometimes, the only way to fix a lie is to make it public. The article dropped 2 weeks later. Title: The Man Who Sold Integrity: How One Startup's Lie Unraveled an Industry. It was brutal. Detailed. True. Derek's schemes were bigger than we'd imagined. He'd been selling fake consulting services under multiple aliases. He'd conned other startups, taken money from founders barely surviving. When the article went live, everything exploded. Investors sued him. Police opened a case. And suddenly, the man who once built connections couldn't find anyone to answer his calls. Karma doesn't block your number, it just makes sure no one answers. A month later, I saw him again, by accident.
at a local coffee shop. Same suit, different man inside it. Pale, tired, talking to a barista like he was negotiating oxygen. He didn't see me. Or maybe he did. But shame has a way of blinding people to witnesses. I ordered my drink, sat nearby, listening to him trying to sell another idea. This time, to a kid half his age. I don't know what hurt more, that he was still lying, or that he didn't know how to stop. When he finally left, he forgot his phone on the counter. The barista called after him, but he kept walking. Didn't look back. I picked it up, looked at the lock screen.
Just a quote, in bold letters. Fake it till you make it. The irony hit harder than caffeine ever could. That was Derek, in one sentence. A man who mistook pretending for progress. And now, he was out of both. Sometimes, I think about him. Where he ended up. Whether he ever learned. But then I remember, life doesn't punish liars with lightning. It punishes them with mirrors. Every morning, they wake up and face the one person who still believes every word. Themselves. Months passed, the chaos faded, the noise around Derek's scandal turned into silence. The kind that follows a storm when everything's still standing, but nothing feels the same. Our company didn't survive. Too much damage. Too little trust left to rebuild. But somehow, I wasn't angry anymore. Because anger only keeps the liar alive in you. And I was done letting him rent space in my head. Maya and I started freelancing. Helping other startups avoid what we went through. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. And honest started to feel beautiful again. Every project we took, we made one promise. No shortcuts, no masks, no fake heroes. And strangely, that truth, that humility, attracted more people than Derek's charm ever did. One morning, I got a message from an unknown number. It was him. Derek. No threats, no excuses, just one line. I wish I had been the man I pretended to be. I stared at that message for a long time. Not with satisfaction, but with sadness. Because that was the most honest thing he had ever said. Later, I heard he was working at a small nonprofit, doing outreach for recovering addicts. They said he was good at listening. Funny, right? The man who once lied to everyone, now helping others tell the truth. That's how karma works. It doesn't always destroy you. Sometimes, it just assigns you homework and makes you repeat the lesson until you finally get it right. Maya and I met once a year after that. Same coffee shop, same seats, different weight in our hearts. She said, if Derek hadn't lied, we might still be at that company. I nodded. Yeah, I said, but maybe we'd still be lying too, about who we were supposed to be.
Because the truth is, we didn't just lose our jobs. We lost our illusions. And maybe that's what freedom actually costs. Sometimes, I still hear Derek's voice in my head. That smooth, confident tone saying, "We're building something bigger than any of us." And now, I finally understand. He was right. Karma is bigger than any of us. Because it doesn't care about success or failure, only balance. And the day he fell, balance was restored. If I learned anything, it's this. Lies don't break when you tell them. They break when you start believing them. And when they finally do, they don't just expose the liar. They reveal everyone who helped him shine. That's what karma does best. It doesn't punish, it teaches. So if you've ever been deceived, if someone stole your truth and called it their own, don't waste your breath chasing revenge. Just keep living honestly. Keep building quietly. Because eventually, the truth always hires its own spotlight. And when it shines, it blinds the ones who thought they'd never have to see it. This was a true story. Real people. Real consequences. You're watching Real Life Karma TV. Every story you hear here started with someone brave enough to tell the truth. What about you? Have you ever seen karma play out right in front of your eyes? Tell us your story in the comments or send it to reallifekarmatv@gmail.com. If this story hit you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe, because your story might be the next one we tell.